Good afternoon. My name is Tommy Bowen. I'm in Juvenile Justice, CRJ 250, with Miss Lori Battle as the professor. I'm doing a gang and delinquency review. Gang presence. The National Youth Survey report indicates that there's 43% of all drug sales involve gang members. There's approximately 27,000 different gangs in the United States active today. Of these 27,000 different gangs, there's 800,000 potential gang members roaming our streets every day. With that many members and that many different gangs, you can only expect that it spills over into our school system. Studies of 2009 and 2010 indicate that 16% of public schools report gang activity during the school year. 20% of students ages 12 to 18 in this year, 2009-2010 school year, report a gang presence in their school. And 4% of our students that go to school every day in the United States fear attack or harm at school. Continuing the study from 2009-2010, 11% of schools reported that weekly acts of disrespect towards teachers that went beyond verbal abuse. In 2008 and 2009, studies indicate that 39.8% of student crime victims report gang presence at school. 40.2% of theft victims report gang presence. Continuing on the 2008-2009 study, 43.2% of victims of violence report gang presence in their schools. Most people would agree that gangs are a serious problem in our schools which affect delinquency. A longitudinal study by Ebbison, Peterson, Fringe, and Taylor conducted in 100 middle and high schools in 6 American cities that was conducted over a 4 consecutive year period. They compared gang and non-gang youth that hung with delinquent friends with non-gang youth who did not have delinquent friends. They used official and self-reports. Some of the results of this study, using the arrest reports by the police, said that of the 14-year-old gang members, that 24.5% of them were arrested. Of the non-gang members of the same age group, 14-year-olds, only 6.7% were arrested. Moving up to the 15-year-olds, the gang members, 34.9% of them were arrested, versus 7.2% of the non-gang 15-year-olds. 16-year-olds, it even bumped up a little higher, went up another percent for the gang members. It was 35.9% of the gang members were arrested during this time period versus 8.6 non-gang members. As you can see, there's significant difference between non-gang members and gang members in their arrest rates. Some of the theories, the social control theory, believes that youth turn to gangs because they fail to establish healthy bonds with their families, adults, schools, and other social agencies. With the lack of that bond, they turn to delinquency, which in fact goes to gang members. The social ecological theory believes that gang involvement is dynamic interplay between social environment and the individual. Which if you grow up in a gang-ridden neighborhood and you're involved and you see this type of activity throughout your life, I mean, the chances are that you're going to at least think about the possibility of joining a gang if you don't. Some of the roads to gang membership. According to Klein and Maxis, some of the contributing factors for youth gang membership include parental monitoring. Parents have to do a better job at monitoring their children. A lot of times they turn them over to the streets, they just let them run wild, they let them do as they please instead of them being stern and parenting their children. Self-control. Studies have showed that children that lack self-control, which is taught at an early age, have a greater tendency to join gangs. Contact with delinquent peer groups. It is very important that parents know who their children are hanging around with. Because if they're not hanging around positive influences in their life, they're definitely going to go on a path of a destructive outcome. Disadvantaged neighborhoods. Through all of our studies, we have seen that some of the undeveloped neighborhoods, or the neighborhoods with challenges, as far as economical challenges and rundown neighborhoods, they definitely have a higher crime rate and a greater chance of gangs in their neighborhoods. Victimization. This is very true with females. Most female gang members indicate through studies that they were a victim of abuse, sexual abuse, and they join gangs as protection because they feel like the gang will protect them, even though many of them are abused by the male gang members. Gender and race. Gender does play a part. There's more male gang members than there are females in the United States, but the female are on rise. And race, there's definitely more Latinos, there's more African Americans gang members than they are white. In conclusion, gangs are directly related to youth delinquency. Whether it be the delinquency turns to the gangs, or the gangs help fuel delinquency, either way they're both tied together. Gangs have a strong foothold in our community. With the 27,000 different gangs and the 800,000 gang members in the United States, I would say they're definitely in our communities and they're here to stay. And gangs are definitely present in our schools. So steps have to be taken to protect our children. What these steps might be, I'm not sure about now, but I know that a strong parent and parenting, and it starts with the family, so parents need to step up and make sure they know what their children are doing. Thank you very much.